I just will receive the signals and I will start to tweak it, to move some knobs, explaining you what I am doing. Okay, so let's start with the kick drum. Well, the first thing that I do after the gain stage is moving to the equalizer. I always use this view here because I can see in some ways the sound. So for example, here you will be seeing like it has a lot of bottom ends, it has some other frequencies moving. So you just listen. Okay, so listening, I can tell you that it has a lot of bottom end, like a little bit unnecessary. So I always use the low cut. In kick drums or basses or cajones or whatever, I don't cut like really loud. I just cut at 40 hertz, 40, 30, 16 some instrument, but not really hard. It's just help a little bit to control. Then, for example, in this signal, the kick drum has a little bit of mid-range. Like the mid-range in percussion instrument do that like card box sound. Like you don't want that sound. You want the low end because there is where the energy is. In a kick drum, you want a little bit of high end because there is where the heat is, like the sound. But you don't want the mid-range because it sounds really bad. You can listen it now. That there is the like cardboard box sound. So how do I find something that I don't really like? I already know a lot about this. I know like how should I equalize a kick drum, a bass, a guitar, or whatever. So I know what I am expecting, but sometimes I still having troubles with find the frequencies that I want to push or the ones that I want to cut. So there is a really nice trick and it's really easy to use is you just go with the equalizer and with the gain knob, use the gain knob, you push really hard. In this mixer, you have like the full parametric equalizer. You remember that we talked about that? We have 3 knobs for just one band. So we have the gain, how much I am adding to that frequency or how much I am cutting. We have the frequency knob, so we can choose the frequency that we are gonna apply this. And we have the Q parameter that with a lot of Q, we have with low Q, we have a low edge, like a low average of frequency, and you can choose how many frequency you are gonna affect. So first, I use a low Q, like really thin the frequency range. Then I push really hard, like mostly all the way. So I give a lot of energy to the frequencies, to the signal, and then I move the frequency knob so you can listen the resonances on the signal. You can, with your ears, you can identify, that's the word, like which frequencies are not doing anything good for the signal. So for example, we are gonna listen now. Just listen. I am gonna push the frequency to the maximum and I will just move. Okay, that frequency is like have so much resonance, but that at the same time is an important frequency of the kick drum. If I cut it the whole stuff, you will lose something important, so you just cut a little bit to help you to control, and then you move to the next band, so you still having 3 equalizer modes to fix the problem. So you do the same. You have you push the frequency really hard with the gain, and then you move. Okay, that frequency sounds awful. It's just like a car box. So in that case, I just cut that frequency, but I already know that that frequency on all the besides frequency I will not use it, so I make that like the bandwidth a lot more like broad, like wide. So I just cut. Now I think it's sounding so much better now, but maybe you will want a little bit of the sound, so you use the same. You go to a mid-high equalizer or maybe the high equalizer, you push the frequency and you try to find the T sound on this kick drum. When you find it, you give just a little bit of that frequency and it helps you to have like clarity in the instrument. Like if now I just shut down the equalizer, you will feel the difference. It's really different, the sound. Like here we have like, now we have like the bottom end really more defined. You can feel bass and you're cutting all the mids, so, and you're pushing a little bit of the highs. One thing that I told you the last time is like you can use the equalizer in 2 ways, like for technical stuff, and the other one is for like cosmetical stuff, like to make something sounds better. So for example, this time I use the mid-range like for, it's like, yeah, more for like aesthetic because it sounds bad, but I could low end in the kick drum because it was like it had a resonance there. The low end is the main frequency of the kick drum, but I cut it anyway because it wasn't good. It wasn't sounding good. So that was technical. So you have like you are mixing all the techniques every time. Another thing that I want to tell you, like really quickly, is that sometimes you hear a signal and you say, oh, this has a lot of bass, or it has a lot of highs, and the equalizer is just to trying to equalize like the signal. If you cut too much of the high end of a signal, you will feel, your brain will feel like this has just bottom end. So how can you fix it? If it has so much low end, you can give high end and you will equalize it and you will like equilibrate it, or maybe you can cut the low end. You have to take the decision in that moment. It's like for making a sound that has so much low end to make it like with more highs, what you will use, like cut or give in the high frequency. You have just to choose. The other things that I will do this time to the kick drum is to compress the signal. Now I will try to explain you this like really in a simple way, and I will do it take a time. I take some time to explain you about the equalizer and about the other stuff, but then I will move really fast to all the signals, and I will really try to mix this whole band really fast just to show you. So in the other signals I will not talk a lot of this, just important stuff. So